Who was he going after?
He was running against basically almost a fascist, right? So it was a shitty neoliberal fucktard versus who was already in power and has proven to be
What
shit.
year was this?
This was this year actually.
In France?
Yes, in France.
Hmm.
They had an election. It was a neoliberal jackass who was already in power, basically French Biden, versus basically almost a fascist, right?
French Hitler.
French Hitler, right? And
French Jean.
not literally Hitler, because she didn't commit genocide. She doesn't advocate for genocide, but she's very right wing.
Hey, what country was that? That lady that we said was really hot. What country is she in charge of?
Finland.
Yeah, that's right. Was the president of Finland?
Prime Minister.
Prime Ministress. Yeah.
She's like 31 years old.
Yeah, she's crazy. You know what's funny?
It's literally like against U.S. law for someone to be that young as president, which is
You
funny.
have to be 35 to
35,
be
yeah.
president.
She's actually younger than AOC.
Bruh, so close.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh my god, I forgot that was a meme. She's gonna run.
She's barely old enough to run in 2024, but yes, she is old enough, and she could run, and she might. I don't think she would win, to be honest.
Well,
Okay,
you
actually,
have to get...
here's a question, Matt. If she ran against Biden for nomination, who would win?
She would.
She has a big enough cult personality, but the DNC is also
Okay, but
corrupt.
her cult personality is the same as Bernie's, and Bernie's lost
Well,
twice.
that's the thing.
Bernie
She has
got
to convince the
screwed over.
DNC that
He did.
she's good.
The DNC doesn't like her, and we've been proven that that's the case.
You know what? That might actually be hope.
But then we get Biden again, who will likely win. Okay, the reason why
Biden's not gonna be alive, dude.
the reason why I think it would actually be difficult for Biden to lose to any Democrat.
Dude, what if Vladimir and Biden just died on the same day, and there's just two power vacuums, and China just goes left and right?
Anyway,
they just go east and west.
The reason why I think it's actually difficult for Biden to lose is because he's popular now because of his student debt relief.
You know what's funny? You can just lie, you'll do things, and all these monkeys will vote for you, dude.
You just described all of politics.
Yeah.
They literally call us monkeys,
make promises.
and we make ourselves fulfilling monkeys.
Yeah, dude, when Biden promised to cancel student debt and he didn't do it for 2 years, I was like, that shit's not happening.
See, I refuse to believe evolution, but the more I think about it in politics, no, we are all monkeys, aren't we?
Yeah. Okay. So one thing was when I was signing
We're
up.
monkeys that keep other monkeys in cages,
When I was signing up for college originally, right?
not realizing we're monkeys in cages.
When I was signing up for college originally, right?
But we're monkeys.
When I was signing up for
Yes.
college originally, right? I had an option of taking out loans, and I didn't take it. And my dad kept telling me, no, you should take it. What if Biden ends up canceling student debt? Then we will have wasted money, right? And I'm just like,
Who?
Come
Your
on,
dad said?
Yeah, my dad, because my dad hates Biden, right? But he was like, okay, we might as well take advantage of it, right? And then
That's epic.
so you know what I told him? Biden's not doing that shit. It's just like
So did you do it?
I didn't. No.
Oh, you were smart.
I didn't take out the loan, which it would have been canceled, by the way.
So actually, he
Did
did
it
lose
get-
out on money.
We could have gotten $10,000 for free.
Did it get canceled?
What? Yes. But student debt relief happened.
How much?
$10,000 worth.
Out of how much debt?
Of whatever you have.
Every person gets $10,000 canceled.
But you would have, how much would you have left had you gone? 90,000?
No, I'm talking. What? What are you talking about?
If you went to 100,000, you know.
Okay, no, I'm talking about my online college that I'm going to. Okay.
Well, that's way cheaper. Then.
Yeah.
So you would have made money back.
I would have. It would basically have been a free $10,000 if I did that, right?
Well, not that it's free, but.
Well.
For you, it would have been, yeah.
And then I was telling my dad, Biden's not doing that shit, because I know these Democratic politicians, they're garbage, right? They promise shit and they don't do it, right? Like Biden also promised $15 minimum wage to the whole country. That hasn't fucking happened yet.
Well, we made that.
They voted on it, and 8 Democrats actually voted against it in the Senate, and it died because of that.
And they're like, oh well.
And even though it's actually really popular, $15 minimum wage is 60% of Americans agree on. Anyway, not just that, he promised to legalize marijuana. That hasn't happened yet.
Well, you know what the problem is with these raising the minimum wage?
What?
Ultimately, it doesn't change anything, because if you go to Colorado, where, they're doing $16 minimum wage, $20 minimum wage, what it is, people have to pay you more So then they have to charge more to pay for your employees.
Well,
And
prices
then
rise
everything goes
anyway. Prices have risen so much in the past 12 years, and the federal minimum wages remain the same.
Yeah, in fact, it's even rising faster.
It's inflation. Like this argument that raising the minimum wages makes things more expensive is not true. It's like it might marginally do, but it raises anyway. We haven't raised it in years, and the prices have increased even more.
And they keep going up.
And they
anyway.
keep going up. Like the whole point of the increase in the minimum wage is to catch up with that.
Well, have you seen the reason why food's gone up?
There's a lot of factors in it.
Yeah.
It's not specifically because of wages.
Well, because it costs more to ship things, and so it costs more to receive
The United
products.
States is one of the cheapest countries to ship things, and that's why actually, in the U.S.
Well, transportation for trucks and diesel's more expensive now.
Well, the biggest thing is the United States doesn't have a VAT tax.
What's that?
A VAT tax.
What is it?
Value-added tax.
Mm.
Most European countries do. Value-added tax adds a 10%, however much it is, right? It adds a percentage tax to each, like, operation of business, right? So, like, let's say you're a farmer, right? You're a farmer who sells, like, let's say, like, meat, right?
Mm.
To, like, a food processing unit, right? There's a tax on that. And then that food processing unit sells that to a company that packages it. There's a tax on that. And then they sell that to a store to sell it. There's a tax on that. So because of that, that's a lot of taxes in between. That adds up a lot. The whole point of that tax is that it creates so much revenue for the government, but it makes things a lot more expensive because companies are not just going to take that. They're just going to pass it down to the consumer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in European countries, food and products are significantly more expensive than in the United States.
Mm.
Actually, you want to know who has the highest VAT tax?
Who?
The UK. 35% for each operation of business.
But they have free healthcare, right?
They do have free healthcare.
So I guess that's where that's coming in.
Yeah. The VAT.
I like how either way you're still paying for shit, and that's just how life is, dude.
But like, think about this, right? If by the time you buy a carton of milk, that's like a 200% tax in total.
So how much is it?
Dude, cartons of milk are twice as much money there as they are here.
So they get free healthcare, but everything else is more expensive anyway.
That's how it works, yes. And they also pay more in taxes.
So what do we want then? Do we want a system where we have healthcare included with our lives, but
Well, my
everything just
argument
costs
wasn't
more?
supposed to be against the VAT tax. I was explaining why. I was explaining that the United States specifically is the cheapest, right? Okay, by the way, I did numbers on this, right? If the
Mhm.
U.S. did a 10% VAT, which is way cheaper than the rest of the world, just a 10% VAT tax, it could fund its entire military every year just on that. Just a 10%. If you did a 20%, you could fund a universal healthcare system and the military.
How much?
Dude.
20%?
20%, which is still almost half of the
How
UK's.
much would that be?
What? How much money would it raise?
Like sum it up, yeah. How much would that?
1.6 trillion.
Mm.
You could fund universal healthcare and the military just on that tax and
Dude,
abolish
United
almost every
States-
other tax.
The United States could actually already fund universal healthcare. In fact, I think they could actually save money if they just had universal.
Okay, it would be cheaper in general because people wouldn't be paying insurance and premiums and co-pays.
Yeah.
It would be cheaper in general. You don't have to do universal healthcare with a VAT tax. You could do a progressive tax.
But no, I'm saying like the government can already fund it.
How? How can the government specifically fund it?
They're already spending way too much on Medicare. They just got rid of that.
Medicare is way cheaper than universal healthcare. So is Medicaid.
Mm.
I'm sorry, but that's true. Like, as much as I want to believe you that that's true, Medicare covers a fraction of what universal healthcare would cover. Yes, it is a lot still because they have to bargain with insurance companies who want to charge a lot and hospitals who want to charge a lot. And if you abolish that, it would be cheaper overall. But
Yeah,
it
you
would.
just have to deal with hospitals. Hospitals are having such high prices on everything because
Well, the neat part of being the government is that you can make people do what you want.
yeah. So
Isn't that fucked?
Nobody can say no to you, right?
yeah.
So, but
It would be much cheaper for literally everyone. Like the only people who
That
would
being-
benefit
that
from
being
it are insurance companies who, I mean, you don't.
you
give a
could
shit
just
about those
abolish
people.
insurance companies. But
Yeah.
That being said,
Yeah, but you don't want to give the government absolute power either.
I agree. You could do checks and balances with this, but as much as I do agree.
No, someone actually did the calculations.
They did calculate Medicare.
And they said that the government would actually save money.
Medicare is more expensive than Medicare for all.
No, they said if the U.S. implemented a universal healthcare system, it would actually save money
for the government.
For the government, yes.
Not just the people, the government. I definitely want to see calculations on that. Because not even Bernie Sanders says that.
I'd have to look for the...
You know what's crazy?
What?
That because we keep voting for people that are poor money managers, our government still finds ways to be in debt.
They're the government.
It's unacceptable.
I agree.
But they can also do what they want.
You look at most Americans are in debt anyway.
The way I see it, the national debt's not as actually a big of an issue as a lot of people think it is. The neat thing about debt is there's not really a due date for it. So because of inflation,
until a country starts knocking on your door,
you borrow money and then you get more debt. But like the thing is, that's kind of a glitch. You can just infinitely borrow money. There's no due date, right? If you don't have enough money for something, you can just borrow it and then you pay that debt by borrowing again, right?
But it creates more debt.
Okay, so
someone has to pick up the bill eventually. Otherwise, it's just a game, isn't it?
Yes, eventually. But if you wait long enough, it's not a big number anymore.
How much money do we owe to China?
I don't fucking know. But anyway.
I'm sure it's several trillion.
Well, let me tell you something. The United States has never paid off its World War II debt.
Really?
It's been 80 years.
Who do we owe debt to?
We owe debt to Japan.
They can fuck themselves.
We owe debt to most of Europe because of...
we protect their asses, we owe them. Cancel that shit right now. I'd say, cancel that shit now or we're leaving NATO.
Here's the
That is bullshit.
Here's the neat part, right?
I think we paid our debt full and some. We brought down that Berlin Wall. Call it a day, Charlie.
Anyway, here's the reason why I mentioned that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about how much money was worth in the 1940s, right?
Yeah, you could go to someone... You know what the 7th Amendment is?
What?
You can take someone to court for $20 worth of damage.
Yeah.
But see, in the time they were talking about $20, now it's probably like $1,000 worth of something.
Yeah, but anyway, the whole point is that if you wait long enough, debt isn't worth much because inflation will keep up with it, right? If you owe $1 billion in 1940, that's a lot of money then. $1 billion for the U.S. government now, not a lot. And most of the U.S. debt is bonds that they owe to its own citizens.
So the government needs to pay us.
The government owes us, actually. That's the funny part.
So what we do, we stop paying taxes for the next 100 years?
Until they pay back the bonds?
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's the funny part. They can't. The only way they could pay us back our bonds is with our own money.
Who wrote this and someone find him? someone resurrect this bastard and put it back in the grave.
The government doesn't...
Who break this?
Government doesn't have its own money. Their money is our money.
Dude, what a freaking spoof. What a farce.
Just
reality.
pay you with your
If they want to pay us back our bonds, we got to keep paying them so they can pay us. They don't have money.
You know what Kenny told me?
What?
Kenny was like, dude, at least take me to dinner first before you fuck me. He was telling us about his old business partner. It was just the funniest shit ever. He's like, man, dude, the guy didn't even take me out to dinner and lube it up. No, he just straight up in my ass. I was like, dude, that is a metaphor for life.
Dude, Kenny, we talk about him a lot. He's a great guy.
I love our Kenny.
I love Kenny.
Yeah, we were shooting today. He was like, you ain't killing this, Kenny. I'm staying inside.
But yeah,
You know what? Here's a solution, right? We have several thousand nukes, but of course Russia had to make more than us, and
doesn't matter.
Half the nukes
let me
we
tell
both
you,
have don't even work.
Let me tell you something.
Give every country a nuke, every one of our allies a nuke, pull out of NATO, pull out of every conflict right now. You have 60 days to finish your missions, pull everybody home. Take all that money that would have been for the military in the next 4 years, give that back to the people, begin a universal healthcare. And boom, the world, everyone has a nuke, everyone has a shotgun in each corner of the world. Someone invades someone, you have a bomb, use it. The U.S., Merry Christmas, we're done here. You guys can defend yourselves with one
You
shot.
know what's hilarious? Well,
Ukraine would have not been nuked. Well, I hope to God it doesn't happen, but Ukraine would have not been invaded had they had the ability to defend themselves with some serious firepower. We're giving them little rockets here. Russia would have never stepped foot if they had something to obliterate them.
I think the United States has donated like 90% of like all the money donated to Ukraine or something crazy like that.
Anyway,
You know what was crazy? And Kentuckians were really pissed off because they were having water issues and they just had that awful tornado in their area, and that this was during that time we were giving money, and like they don't, the U.S. government doesn't have money to help the people here, but they had money to go sending over there. And it's like, I'm sorry.
Okay, but like, here's a question: are you new here? Because this has been like this for decades.
And see, the thing is, in our time, in our reality, we're in our 20s, right? So we are kind of technically new to the world.
Yeah.
But like, you only get older, and you're like, dude, this is bullshit. But like, most people hit their 30s and like, all right, we're not gonna do anything about it. We're just gonna vote for people who aren't gonna do anything about it, and the world's never gonna get better. Well, that's not acceptable. How can you live this way? How can then you live in a world with so many Donnies? Unacceptable. All right, that's my last Donnie joke. I'm done. I am leaving this religion.
Well, he is from California.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
So that makes sense. Why he like? I think is Donnie the spokesperson for everyone who's from California?
Dude, Donnie is the representative.
Donnie jokes.
That was an accident. That one slipped out. The Avengers language slipped out. You dude, Donnie is the representative
for California.
For everyone who pulls this shit. Freaking what Key Isles said. He's a city boy and a professional bullshitter. Did you win your bet? Alright guys, thanks for listening. We'll catch you later.
Dude, we talked so much. Okay,
I'm glad.
Matt,